had written this article for one of the papers in New York. See, and it says, you know, a boxer goes for 2 titles, champ and rabbi. This was before the fight against Andre Tsirkon, so this was before you accomplished either of those goals. And, you know, as we know that you became champion on November 14th, 2009, when did you become a rabbi? When did you become a rabbi?
Maybe 5 years after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, roughly that, yeah. I think 2015, I think I got the diploma for becoming a rabbi. Passed all my exams with the rabbi that I studied, and yeah, it was an interesting kind of accomplishment, which is very lengthy process, and I was going, even though I was going with my own speed, it was not like a year or 2 year crash course, because I was a professional fighter. I still have to train, I have to do this, so I could have not fully dedicated myself. Yeah, but I prepared myself and I passed, I think 4 or 5 exams, and with a lot of questions, and it was a written exam, and yeah, passed all
What kind
of
of
them.
questions? Are these like multiple choice questions or essay questions or?
So no, it was all dietary based on Shulchan Aruch, which is code of law in Judaism, and I had to answer all kind of some of the questions were tricky, and it's regarding Shabbat, prayer, and so forth, and yeah, and everything was in Hebrew, or the text that you learn. It's not English. It's Aramaic or Russian script or Hebrew. You know. So it was one of the challenges in the beginning. But once you, as they say, practice makes perfect. You get used to it, and you learn, and you are roll with the punches. You know.
Was it? I mean, would you say it's harder to become a rabbi or a world champion of boxing?
It's both very different challenges. You know, in boxing, clearly, it's at least in the rabbinical exams, you know for sure nobody gonna punch you in the head. You know, and if you do a mistake, you know, you can learn a little harder, maybe an extra hour. But in boxing, it's different. In boxing, there's a little anxiety factor, some maybe a little bit of fear, you know, and so I would say boxing more lengthy process to become world champion. if some people who are curious about should I go what's shorter to become world champion or a rabbi would be much shorter. I don't know what kind of rabbi you will become, you know, a good or bad or intermediate. There's also qualities, you know, just like a trainer, just like a boxer, just like a trainer. You know, there's a good trainers, there's a bad trainers. There's a good boxer, there's a bad boxers. Same thing with the rabbis. Rabbis, no exceptions. There is rabbis who are, you know, yeah, they passed the exam, but should they be a rabbi? I don't think so.
That's a fair point. Yeah. I mean, there's no shortage of, like, you know, religious figures that are, you know, that maybe
exactly, because as soon as person starts teach others, there's a sense of responsibility. It becomes a responsibility that it's not about you, you know. And some people have issues with not by you, you know, like it's quite a bit about me. So, and that's what becomes. I don't think it's in my point of view. Very often you have to be a little bit kind of rational about many things, and sometimes to turn off the this little voice, me, you know, like kind of, you know, on the spectrum, 1 to 10, sometimes to 0, you know.
Do you have students? Is it like, I mean, when I hear the term rabbi, I mean, that's my association is that.
A pulpit rabbi where you would watch, I don't know, some movies about with rabbis, and no, I don't. Sometimes I wish I had a voice to sing some prayers. I don't have, so I'm not even going that way. And I know as a boxer, I can develop my voice. I can develop my voice just like I can develop my power and punching power, but I don't have desire.
Okay.
Also, I'm not like a pulpit rabbi. I'm not planning on being one. But one of the reasons that I start learning to be a rabbi is because Judaism, I think it's a fascinating religion. It's fascinating, the spirituality and philosophy, theology, you know, of it. And when you study Judaism in depth, you know, that's when it becomes things much more interesting. You know? And that's one thing. That was one of the aspects that I started learning for, because I just find it very interesting. And second is, I think, the second reason is because, you know, to maybe perhaps along my life path, you know, I can maybe motivate some other people through sport or through boxing or through Judaism. I mean, you know, and I as soon as I start studying, I realized that there's so many in Judaism and boxing. There are so many focal points that very similar. You know, it's because Judaism is. It's not going to the mountain, going to the forest and sing, you know, like being far from humanity and developing your personal self, which is true as well, is very important, and it's part of Judaism or any other religions out there. But it's about actually wrestling, really going dirty, going kind of rolling up your sleeves and going into the mud of this physicality and trying to elevate it and elevate others if you can, you know, because
Spiritually.
as like for example, Lubavitcher Rebbe, you know, he was saying, in order to bring a person from depression or like from when the person is low and he is stuck, you kind of have to go to his level, to where he is, to this dirt, and help him to unstuck himself.